Hello, welcome to our training series. We'll be going over in the next several videos how to approach Tile 24, what is Tile 24, why do we call it that, and how to fill out lighting forms for Tile 24 compliance. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is Title 24. There's a bit of a misnomer with this name because Title 24 encompasses a lot of things. Title 24 is a term for a set of documents that the government has released, and it includes many parts. There's electrical code, which is a part 2. There's residential code, part 2.5, fire code. You probably have heard the word Cal Green, which is the California Green Building Standards. That's part 11. And there's also the California Energy and Efficiency Standards Code, which is part 6. And under that, there's also, envelope and HVAC and lighting and solar and power and all sorts of different parts. So a lot of times in the industry, people shortcut straight through and call the lighting portion of Part 6 of Title 24 just Title 24, which can be confusing since Title 24 includes, say, the building code and electrical code and fire code. But what they're really referring to is specifically Part 6 and oftentimes the lighting portion of Part 6. If this is confusing, I have a little comparison here. You can think of this as calling Labradors, which is a type of dog, mammals, because you have all these different types of mammals, including dogs, and then you have all these different types of dogs. So even though it's called Title 24, Title 24 encompasses a lot of things, and we're really referring to the Energy Code. And the Energy Code includes a couple different things. It includes power density calculations, which are pretty universal even if you're not in California. Even if you're in other states, you probably have ASHRAE 90.1 or other standards that require you to document your power density, that is to say your watts per square foot that you're using for lighting. And there's also filling out forms. So you can do this a number of different ways, and in these videos we will be using the software Revit, Bluebeam, Excel, and Energy Pro to complete these forms. You do not need to have all of these programs to complete them. You can count your fixtures by hand. You can use Excel. There's a number of different ways to do this, but we're going to go over how to leverage programs that you probably already have without having to rely on an energy modeler to complete your forms for you. So there's a couple of different ways to calculate the power density. There's prescriptive method and performance method. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably a lighting designer or an electrical engineer, and you are not well versed in how to model energy. You're not an energy modeler. Or maybe you are, but we're going to assume that you don't know how to do performance method because it involves modeling all these other things, envelope and HVAC, and the energy used in chillers and all kinds of mechanical things. So you're probably going to use prescriptive method. And if you're using prescriptive method, you can use Energy Pro. But if you're using performance method, you must use a program called CBE CC-Com, which we will not be going over today. We're going to assume you want to do this the easiest and fastest way. And if you use by prescriptive method, then you probably want to use by building and not by space. So we're going to, there'll be one bonus video where we'll go over how to calculate by space, but we're going to assume that you're going to use by building method, which means you're going to calculate the number of fixtures in the entire building, not by each floor and each room. So we'll go over power density calcs, how to calculate your fixtures that you have leveraging Revit, and then how to enter them into Energy Pro, and how to print those forms and then fill out all of the extra bits and pieces of the forms in Bluebeam. So the first that completes the first part of this series, just going over, and check out our next video where we'll go over getting totals in Revit and entering them into Energy Pro.